Good morning, everybody. Once again, I want to say what I have here is a 40 minutes presentation, but because I have about 25-30 minutes to do so, I think I will just go straight to the most essential parts. Our overview today, beyond slogans and protests, preparing the Nigerian youth for leadership and preparing them to be able to fix Nigeria. The first thing we are going to do is take a brief look at leadership and discuss the positioning of the Nigerian youths in the leadership structure of the country. Then to the heart of the matter, we are going to look at street protests and sloganeering in Nigeria and x-ray its impact on our polity. Secondly, we will discuss the challenges that our youths might be facing if they want to participate, that they have to contend with if they want to participate in politics. And finally, we have to understand why we have to hastily decide to deliberately transfer power to our youths and strategies that different stakeholders can deploy to achieve this goal. There are over 1,000 leadership traits, and that has affected the definition of leadership. There are, as at the last check, there are over 850 definitions of leadership. But today, we'll be using the definition that Dr. Miles Monroe used in his book, Becoming a Leader. He said a leader will be committed to sharing a vision by providing a clear and purposeful direction, by inspiring a people through passion and conviction, empowering a people by developing their potentials and leading change in the society by transforming individuals and organizations. But today we are looking at particularly national leadership, which is about how a country is being governed and the select individuals or governing bodies who are elected or appointed and are responsible for controlling, directing, and guiding the entire country. Their leadership roles focuses on setting strategies, fostering development, and addressing complex issues through laws, regulations, policies, decision-making, and vision towards the nation's growth. They set agendas, build coalition, implement strategies, and manage crises. They are expected to engage the public in consultation. They are expected to be accountable. They are expected to follow the rule of law and maintain public trust. But what we have in Nigeria is a population of over 218 million people, of which 70% of them are over 30 years. Nigeria has the largest youth population in Africa and the fifth in the whole world. Definitely, Nigeria is a youth nation. The capacity of the youths can be used to properly harness our political, economic, and social transformation. The literacy rate of Nigeria is 70%, making us the 31st in Africa. I don't want us to be disturbed about this because as at the last time I checked, the first 20 countries in that list, remove South Africa from it, their population is not up to that of Nigeria. And as a matter of fact, the population of Cilg, that happens to be the first, Mauritius and Tunisia, without Tunisia, Equatorial Guinea, is not up to what Nigeria churns out every year to enter the labor market, the entire population of the country. So that should not disturb us because the tertiary institutions in Nigeria produce about 600,000 graduates every year. 2 million people sit for WAEC every year. Annually, we push out 3.5 million young Nigerians into the market labor, one of the largest wave of youths entering workforce anywhere in the world. The bad side of it is youth unemployment, with nearly 80 million young people, which is about 53% of the Nigerian population that are currently unemployed. This demographic dividend, which is supposed to be a strength, has been largely neglected and not developed. Nigerian youths are leaders already in different areas. We are primary creators and drivers of several high-growth ecosystems. For example, in technology and digital economy, in circular economy and sustainability, waste to wealth, renewable energy, in agribusiness and agri-tech, in e-commerce. There are 25,000 online retail businesses in Nigeria, and all of them are youth-driven. The creative industry are led by the youth in Nigeria. We have the dominance of Nigerian youth in sectors that the process to leadership is systemic, and it might take time before you become a leader. But definitely, if you look at banking, over 60 or 70% of Nigerian bankers are youth. Where opportunities for expression are limited, you trust Nigerians, they travel abroad, and they've been largely successful as physicians, as nurses, and ICT experts. That's where the Japa stuff came from. The question we are asking today are young Nigerians given the opportunity to participate in national leadership. Participation in governance, in decision-making is wide. You can just be informed and be informing others. You can go to newspaper joints and join people reading newspaper or contribute online. You can hold peaceful protests. You can register to vote, but that is even different from turning out on election day to go and vote. You can support candidates by volunteering and by giving them money. You join political parties and you can seek to serve in office. But what INEC has told us is that young people make up the largest voting bloc with about 40% of Nigerian voters distribution. This is closely followed by persons aged between 35 and 49. In Nigeria, they still call themselves youths. They make up 36% of the voter distribution. Yet, in 2023 electoral cycle, only 29% of about 15,300 candidates across the entire country are young people. Young people are definitely underrepresented in governance in Nigeria. The Nigerian youth, since they don't give them a seat at the table, they have taken to confronting the government. They have taken to street and social media to do that. Professor Toyin Falola said protests by young people are one way of safeguarding the national situation and to remind the ruling class to prioritize their interests. So what are these historical examples of protests that Nigerian youth have participated in? The most fantastic one, secondary school students, King's College in 1944, they refused that they vacate their campus for the British military men. And some of them were even conscripted into the army, some were suspended. In 1961, the students of UI in Ibadan protested when Patrice Lumumba of Congo was murdered. And they also protested by walking to Lagos, and they were joined by students of Yaba Tech in Lagos to protest the Anglo-Nigerian Defense Pact. We also remember the Ango must go, the Ali must go. First of all, when cost of food was increased in the university, Ango must go against Professor Abdullahi of Abu, the anti-SAP, the June 12th, the not too young to run peaceful protests, occupy Nigeria, end SARS, and end bad government. But youths have dominated this because of their democratic dominance. 70% of Nigerian youths are under 30. And so when you get people turn out on the street, there's a probability that 70% will be young people. In the workforce, over 70% of our workforce in Nigeria are also youths. And we said we have 80 million unemployed youths. So when you get to state capitals, when we have urban youths, you see youths that are both employed and unemployed coming out for protest. In most cases at university towns, and virtually all state capitals today have universities. So the protests are much more effective because of the student unions. And they are digital natives. Most of us are converted to the use of computer. Some people were born into it. So it's easy for them to use the social media. The social media has been able to contribute a lot to sloganeering and protest. End SARS is a watershed. The government, at the end of the day, engaged protesters. They were able to turn their protests and slogans to win. Don't let us forget, in the slide I shared before this, that the UN protests against the Anglo-Nigerian military defense pact, it brought it to limelight, and the country did not go into it. The Ali must go, Ali did not go. Ango must go, Ango went. And we didn't know the youths were unable to do anything about SAP. They were unable to do anything about June 12th. They were able to do something about not too young to run, you know. So they've been having impacts, especially the watershed is the EndSARS. Government was able to call the protesters and engage them in different states. They had dialogues, and there was a policy shift, you know. And we also had the not too young to run bill and law, which is very impactful. It created institutional change and made a law. Then there were natural awareness creation after not too young to run. Increase in participation from 21% in 2015 to 34% in 2019 of registered voters. That statistics is from INEC. And people below 35 in states houses of assembly moved from 0.3% in 2015 to 3.92% in 2023. And federal assembly moved from 6% to 9.2% within the same year. But the social media has assisted us a lot. Most especially, let me just speak that during EndSARS, there were legal aids, there were funding, there were mobilization, they had logistics, they brought influencers in. But most importantly, the struggle was globalized because of social media. And we have the bad apples. That is to say, the bad things, the bad side of sloganeering on social media. They promote untruth. We can't talk about that now. We can talk about that later. A lot of our Nigerian youths exhibited insolence and digital recklessness. They were preaching violence. COVID-19 warehouses, about 20-something warehouses were looted all over the country. And they also engaged in activism, which is hacking government agencies' websites. And, you know, so what interests were these youths projecting? Basically, there were, before 1990 or immediately after 1990, most of the issues were global. But now they are now talking about harsh economic policies. They are talking about military interruption in democracy. They are talking about removal of petroleum subsidies and the attendant economic impact. They are working against police brutality, against bad governance, and for improved participation in governance. So we need to move away from the rhetoric of protests and slogans and find out how the youth can broaden their horizon towards political significance and transformation. There are 6 pillars that are very important if the youth wants to achieve this. There must be the alliances beyond challenges. Not Too Young to Run is a distinct block movement that we can learn from. Youths all over the country were able to come together. They were able to move. They were able to protest in every state capital, peaceful protests. They were able to talk to governors. Excuse me. There are so many factors that are militating against the Nigerian youth for speaking with one voice across the existing wide divide. But the Not Too Young to Run protests was able to summon this: ethnicity, religion, culture, political ideology. But I want to say here that youths can form youth groups in their immediate communities and harvest the attendant gains of team building, growth, social cohesion, and the application of their voice. They can work with other groups to enlarge the impact of what they are trying to do and learn from what it takes to achieve the local impact. These experiences are vital, and they can use it in their participation in politics. Readiness to take responsibilities. Every youth that wants to participate in politics must show that he or she is ready to take responsibility by developing a roadmap of practical preparation for personal professional growth. There are 3 courses. Capacity building. They have to build their capacity in terms of leadership skills on issues and topics like networking, conflict resolution, strategic decision-making, effective communication, and so many. These soft survival skills are up to 100, but you just have to look at the ones that you lack and the ones that you need to apply into. Then they have to get political skills, which is what we do at Integral Participation. We teach people public speaking. In politics, you need to know about messaging. If you want to convince people You need to be able to talk to them about particular issues and convince them so that they can shift and they can vote for your party. You need to learn mobilization techniques. You need to know how to do segmentation and target voters. There are quite a lot of strategies about this, and you need to know how to get out the votes on election day. There is competence building. Competence building in project and assignment delivery. Over time, you need to prove to the people that you are working with that when they give you these assignments that you can deliver. You need to build your competence. You need to know how to carry out projects to fruition. And the third is character building. This is the charm that will make you visible and acceptable. And it is the bridge between your vision and your success. There is your character. Your character is very important. Your character is what will show all the charm that you have and allow people to be able to move closer to you and like you and suggest you for positions. One thing we don't do very well in Nigeria is that we don't understand what political parties are and how political parties operate. For every young person that wants to participate in politics, you need to understand political parties. A political party is a structure with systems and culture. You must understand the structure. You must master the systems and you must adhere to the culture. A political party is a platform that is built by an amalgam of people of similar interests, principles, and ideologies for the purpose of contesting an election. You can build your political party. People create political parties. It looks like it takes forever, or you can lean on existing ones. What is happening to ADC now is different from what APC did by trying as much as possible to put a political party together. You remember Mr. Obi in his election did not have to create a political party. He left PDP, he went to Labour. People do that a lot, but some people take time at times and create their political party. It's a lot of work. But I think it is very important that, except in a place where you don't have people of similar interests and principles and ideologies, it is better for you to join a political party. A political party is a contest machine. This is the most difficult thing for people to understand because it is created in the context of competition to seek to secure and sustain power internally by individuals, caucuses, etc., and externally to take over government. A political party is not a tea party. It's not a place they call you just to come and join them and one day we will remember you. It's a place where you have to strategically position yourself. Political parties have challenges, not only in Nigeria, it's all over the world, but it's very obvious in Nigeria. There is no fluid ideological positioning. You know, we used to have socialist party, we used to have party that are welfareist, then you know that this party is a party that believes in capitalism or believes in free market. All those in Nigeria, the lines, the boundaries are blurred. Inability of political parties to influence governments that they form. In a political party used to be stronger than the people they put in government, but that is no longer what they do. Then political parties have poor internal democratic systems. Unsuccessful politicians or outsiders will complain about godfatherism, about imposition, about huge resource for elections. The truth is this, that political parties are machineries. Political parties are machineries of constant and intense struggle for power, where influences, information, alliances, and advantages are regular weapons deployed to win contests. Hypothetical barriers or supposed barriers. There are no barriers to joining a party, but definitely there are barriers to taking a party ticket to contest for a seat. It is not that these barriers are permanent. People break these barriers. What people see are family entrenchments. The son of a governor going to the House of Assembly, the son of a rich man contesting an election and win or being given a seat, and they see influences, people that have influence, like a Desmond Elliott coming to join politics and getting a seat. Then there is money politics. They see rich people. It's unfortunate now that there is fraud sludge, what I call rich people that you can't actually say where their money is coming from, and they are getting into offices. But people don't notice merit. People don't notice the work that some politicians do. There are people that don't have family names, that don't have influences they can peddle, they don't have money, and they get into a political party, they work themselves up to a place where they are able to attain the positions they want. People don't notice strategic positioning after someone has been prepared for it. They don't notice that there is a difference between professional politicians and professionals in politics that have come to bring what they know to assist the party in their immediate community for them to be able to have opportunities to move ahead. But what people should realize is that power is not served a la carte. Leadership, influence, high positions, or even our liberty are rarely considered easily. A slave master doesn't even want to release a slave. They must be earned through hard work, struggle, and strategic efforts. You must fight, negotiate, and struggle to gain placements, position, and power. Gestation principle. Organizations like the civil service, like judiciary, the academia, the military, are structured to allow entrants have experience before attaining top managerial or leadership roles. Should it be like that in politics? It shouldn't. Politics and public life is tending towards this pattern, especially in Nigeria, and this trend should be discouraged. Notwithstanding, a political career, anybody that wants to have a career in politics must be able to envision it as a marathon race, not a sprint, not a dash. You must learn the ropes, you must build alliances, you must join caucuses, you must be ready for responsibilities. You must seek guidance in terms of mentorship by leaders that are already established. And you must be strategic and intentional in your actions and inactions. Deliberate power transfer. While I was looking about for materials to put together, I discovered that they were having a conference in Abuja on youth leadership. And Vice President Kashim Shettima said leadership must be understood with clarity. It is not a ceremonial handover, waiting for age to perform his arithmetic. It's a structured process through which young men and women are prepared, trusted, integrated, and supported within the institutions that shape our future. The tickling bomb. These are the youngest African leaders. Ibrahim Traore is a 38. He became a leader of his country at age 34. He's a graduate. Muhammad Debi became a leader at age 37. He succeeded his father as a military ruler in 2021. He's now a civilian ruler. He did the election in 2024. Assimi Goita is now 42, 37 years of age when he did the coup. He has transited to presidency without an election. Mamadi Doumbouya, Guinea, took leadership by military coup at the age of 36. This is a tickling bomb. When some youths are not allowed to participate, are not given the table to talk, to tell you what they want and to participate in decision-making, they find that another way of doing it. But there is a model African leader, Bashiru Diomaye Faye. If you look at the things I've highlighted, he has a master's in law. He's the son of a socialist, of a member of a socialist party. He joined his friend to form a party, and he became the ideologue of the party. Immediately he joined. He found a niche for himself, found out what he can do well. He wrote his friend's manifesto when his friend contested the presidential election. And he became the secretary when his friend was arrested and put into jail. Then he worked out to create Liberate the People, a national coalition that for the first time won about 53 seats against the opposition party. In that same year, he lost his mayoral election. But the point we are trying to make is that he has been able to do a lot of things that two presidential candidates stepped down for him to be able to emerge as the president. That is the model. Africa should give opportunities to the young one. Nigeria should give opportunities to the young one so that they don't go and join the military with a plan of taking over we should be deliberate in transiting power to them. The federal and state governments should endeavor to give good governance by giving priority to proper policies, by expanding its education investment dragnet to cover those left out. We have in some areas like the Southwest or Southeast, we have a good educational output, while in some northern areas we don't. They should try as much as possible to bring all the youths to the same educational level. They should focus on policies that will create jobs by supporting the creation of new businesses and economic opportunities targeted at empowering youth. Government policies must create a supportive environment for youth to enter and remain in power. I'm going to make some suggestions. They should create youth advisory councils with the authority to review all legislations for youth responsiveness before it is passed. They should institutionalize the 30 to 50% youth appointment policy, like in Beijing, what they said they should do for women. This will create space for youth in executive cabinet position, board membership, and senior special assistant positions. The government should use affirmative action to ensure that at least 50% of participation of under 40 years at the local government council level is there. This will make the local government a strata for leadership breeding. They should provide the youth special seats, like the female special seats that is being suggested in the new constitution amendment. Deliberate power transition is what everybody should be part of. Political parties should act as the main promoters of the deliberate power transition reforms. At least 30 to 40% of candidate slots for positions like state houses of assembly or federal or representatives should be reserved for members under 35 as what I call youth quotas. There should be a waiver of nomination fee for candidates under 35 years, as it is being done in most parties now for female candidates who only pay expression of interest forms. We should have youth-led shadow cabinets in the party to establish and operate as advisory boards for the purpose of adding youth perspective to party strategy. Individual politicians in public office can use their executive position to transfer authority to young people. Cabinet members and representative members should create youth co-pilots or junior advisory team. Like we have what they call the junior senate, the youth senate, but they are picked and they are not operating. Is every senator should pick a youth to be his shadow, who will be integrated into daily decision-making, policy drafting, and budget decision. And you can imagine that he's doing this every year. In 4 years, the senator must have encouraged 4 young people to have an understanding of what they do in Senate. Internship should be organized for students in tertiary institutions to build up exposure of the young ones. Active citizenship. Every one of us, all the youths, should start doing something. Active citizenship is about individuals coming together and involving more people in their immediate community to act together to accomplish change. It ignites and switch from passive sentiments of entitlement. They should give us seats to that of ownership mentality. I am working in my community, transforming ideas of this is my right to the perspective of I'm a responsible youth. It redefines political activism, moving from protests or from slogans to active engagements, like participating in community association, like being volunteers for different projects and different NGOs, and for even politicians to support them to get to office, for advocating on policies, to engage in citizens' vigilantism against corruption, participating in youth organizations like student union and youth councils. This will make our young people develop confidence and conviction that they can act with others, have influence, and make a positive difference in the society. I saw this, and sorry, time is going, but I have to read it because this is where we are going to start the journey to the end. There is a need for a search for a difference. Penny Jackson is the name of a contributor in Vanguard newspaper. The man is deceased now. He said, many times I've hinted at what I call the ambivalence of Nigerians about corruption. Indeed, what I mean is that we are all hypocritical about our position on corruption. Otherwise, how is it that very often those who are ostensibly in pursuit of transparency or those fighting corruption are invariably caught in the very act of corruption? What I see most times are people who are incensed that someone else is doing the stealing and not them. Given half a chance, they hostile the people they were criticizing yesterday. Oh, the smart phrase nowadays is the hunter becomes the hunted. In other words, the thief and the catcher easily trade places. He propounded the theory that the decibel of the noise of a Nigerian is directly proportional to his distance from an opportunity to steal. The nearer he gets to the opportunity, the less the noise. When he finally arrives at the opportunity, he's dead silent. Like the culture of when you are eating, you don't talk, that our mothers used to teach us. Until a man has been politically exposed and comes out clean, I can never take him serious. He said this in 2012. After the Not Too Young law manifested an increase in youth participation and representation, Samson Itodo of Iaga Africa said, this historic wins will only count if the young legislators make a difference by ensuring excellent legislative performance. It is not only in the houses of assembly. We need young people that can get into government and make a difference. We all know the problems of Nigeria, the leadership challenges we have, and we know that corruption is the root of most of these challenges. The Penny Jackson theory is an assertion that replacing Nigeria's political functionary with a new set will result in corruption. Our institutions are weak and have been eroded by strong individuals who undermine institutions rather than strong institutions that could regulate individuals. Do we have to wait for the youths to fix Nigeria? Can we say that Nigeria is badly governed because of youth underrepresentation in government? The truth is that age is not a class or scientific indicator of consciousness. Corruption is not about age. I will conclude by joining Ashaju, Arome, and Issa. They postulated that our leaders fail to identify the essential values that sustain the various societies that constitute the modern Nigerian society, and we didn't infuse such values into our social system. Hence, the consequent leadership failures became inevitable. They recommend that the need for moral education, constant value reorientation, and strengthening of our institutions with our core values as a means to surmount the Nigerian leadership challenge. The youths own 100% of the future, and the lot should fall on them. The saying youths are the leaders of the future is too futuristic, when Nigeria's youth dominates the country's demography. For the youths to fix Nigeria, we should intensify moral education and inculcate value reorientation into the process of preparing the youths for leadership now. When Barack Obama came to Ghana, he said, Africa doesn't need strong men. We need strong institutions. I agree we need strong institutions. But it can never be too late for them, for the youths to be the primary determinants of their own future. What is their future? A Nigeria of strong institutions, led by honest individuals with strong integrity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this insightful section. Thank you so much. Before our question and answer, I would like to take the announcement of this section. And we want to really appreciate our facilitator for taking us through this section. Politics beyond slogan. We were able to look at what leadership is and discuss the positioning of the Nigerian youth. He also taught us about the 6 pillars or challenges that our youth must know and prepare to contend with in their quest to participate in party politics. We really want to appreciate you, sir, for this beautiful section. So before our question and answer, I'll be taking the announcement for this webinar. Our inductor Our induction will be happening in July, 21st of July, Friday, 21st of July. That is our first induction for the year, which is our 13th membership induction and leadership award ceremony. And our theme for this induction is institution that works lessons for Nigeria. So I want to implore us to please, those that are not our members yet, they should try as much as possible to send in their profiles and join CILG. The attendance for today's webinar is very, very, very important for everybody. If you are a member, be it a member or non-member, we want to tell you that the attendance is important. The link has been shared in the chat box. You can access the link in the chat box. And if you are not a member of CILG yet, we want you to join us. Would appreciate if you can send your CV to us. The link is also in the chat box. And for this webinar, a certificate of participation is issued to everyone that attended. It's of 10,000 naira. The account number has been posted here and it will be pasted in the chat box as well and the platform. So if you know you need the certificate, please make the payments into the designated account number and your certificate will be given to you. So if you want to join CILG, we have membership categories. We have fellow member, that is FCILG. This is for highly experienced leaders with at least 20 years of proven leadership experience. We have full member, which is MCILG. These are leaders with less than 20 years of experience with a relevant certificate and members of other professional institutes. Then we have the associate member, that's the ACIG. They are holders of the first degree with 10 years of leadership experience. How to join us is simple. You can send your updated CV or profile to info@cilgnigeria.org or member@cilgnigeria.org. And you can call any of the numbers on the screen. You can call any of the numbers on the screen and we'll be more than willing to attend to you and answer every of your inquiries. So I would be handing over to the PRO, Mr. Innocent, to anchor our question and answer section. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Ronke, for that wonderful announcement. I also want to appreciate our guest speaker, Mr. Oluwasegun Victor, for this research, and you were able to give us something tangible. Now we are going straight into the question and answer section. I would like us to respond. I would like us to ask our questions. If you want to ask a question, you can either raise your hand up by pressing the raise hand button on the icon, just the raise hand icon, or you drop your question on the chat box. But before we go into the questions, I would like to point out some things and ask some important questions. Now, Mr. Victor, you said a lot of things which I believe every participant here have something to say about it. Now, listen very carefully. You said something. The change begins with me campaign. Citizens were encouraged to adopt better values. Yet, systemic issues like corruption and inefficiency persisted. Now, the question is this: what specific systems or structures must leaders implement to translate powerful slogans into measurable national outcome? What specific systems or structures must leaders implement to translate powerful slogans into measurable national outcomes? Now, let me ask the second question before I hand over to the guest speaker and also to the floor for others to ask their questions. There are barriers to taking a party ticket to contest for a seat based on your presentation. Yes, there are barriers, sir. You mentioned them. Now, the question is, what are the most critical structural and financial barriers preventing credible Nigerians from securing party tickets? And how can these barriers be dismantled to allow fair competition? I will ask again, what are the most critical structural and financial barriers preventing credible Nigerians from securing party tickets, and how can these barriers be dismantled to allow fair competition? Thank you, sir. Please, I would welcome your response, sir, before others can start asking their question. Thank you, Mr. Segun, Mr. Victor.
Thank you very much, Oba. Let me first answer your first question. What our leaders have to do to inculcate and make sure that those values that they are teaching are carried out, I will suggest two things. One, when leaders act in a way and they're asking you to do something else, people are not following them. So it's a case of do what I say, not do as I do. But young people watch, it is sociological. Young people watch adults and they follow what adults do. So we need these leaders themselves to start working on their values and also try as much as possible to do things that they want the younger generation to do. Secondly, when we say deliberate power transfer, there should be deliberate policies. We've had the National Orientation Organization as they are working, and we have a lot of people that are trying, the Ministry of Information, they are trying to tell us how to be good Nigerians. I've also been seeing the 747, but basically what is important is they should find a way to inculcate that value reorientation. It's a continuous thing that we have to do. They have to take it to school. In school, when they do civics, they have to tell them what it takes to be a good Nigerian and how they should be able to behave. And when they leave school, when they get to NYSC camp, they should rehash it. They should tell them again. And so it is something that is continuous. Thank you. Secondly, your question, critical, structural, and financial barriers that can enhance participation and fair competition. You see, what I wrote, I saw the comments that someone made and said this thing is supposed to be a big discussion and not something that will do justice to in a little while. When I said hypothetical barriers, hypothetical means supposed. And I said, those are barriers that some people can see and they are talking about. But for some people, those are not barriers. Let me tell you something. And it has happened in Nigeria. And I can make short examples. Parties all over the world look at good candidates. They don't have to have pedigree. They don't have to have money. They take these candidates to where they call safe seats so that they can have them in government. And political parties do it all over the world. And they do it in Nigeria. Parties, as I talk to you now, still look at good candidates without money, good candidates without pedigree, and they take them and they assist them. So that is part of what people call godfatherism. If I know someone that has been prepared, someone that has been serving the party, and I encourage the person to contest for House of Assembly, and I back him, and I'm a leader, another person will say, I'm his godfather. So in fact, while I can say that, and that is why I have suggested that the parties should reduce the issue of money, cost of obtaining funds for young people, not for everybody, because they also need to make money, for young people, so that they can have the opportunity and they cannot say that it's because I don't have money that I'm not contesting. But let me tell you that some of the young people that are contesting that doesn't have money, some of the people in the party are giving them money. So that's the point I'm making, that is not actually a barrier when you are prepared. When you have shown that this is your party, when you have respected your leaders, when you have carried assignments out and they know you are good at it, and when they know that in that particular community where you have practiced active citizenship, if we put you there as an advantage for our party, they will trump you up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That's a good one. Okay, the floor is now open for members, participants to ask their questions. We have had a wonderful session by our guest speaker today, which covered the topic leadership beyond political slogans. Now, it is time to ask your question. It is time to make your contribution. It is time to add. It is time to in fact, express yourself. Now, the floor is open. If you want to ask a question, kindly raise your hand up. I can see one hand raised up. Mr. Olayemi Fami Lucy, kindly unmute and take the floor. Kindly unmute, Mr. Olayemi.
Thank you very much for this session. I just want to ask, would it be possible to have this on YouTube or hosted somewhere so we can go back home and take time to listen to it all over again? Because I would. This is something I would really want to listen to all over and all over again. Please, that's my question.
Okay, let me take that. If you have been following our social media handles, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, we are on Instagram. You would have been following all our programs that have been going on right from inception. So for that, I would like to inform you that on YouTube, you will have this program, this class, this session on YouTube. Hopefully, after this session this week, you have it on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, search for Chartered Institute of Leadership and Governance Nigerian Chapter, or you just search for CILG Nigerian Chapter. Then you follow us, so you can see all the links and you can get this class again over there. Thank you so much. So we have someone else, Mr. Tunde Dairo. Kindly unmute and ask your question or make your contribution. Mr. Tunde, the floor is open for you. Kindly unmute.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator, DPRO. My perspective centers around deliberate encouragement for the youth's participation. Beyond putting up policies, institutional framework, and other things that are important to get to galvanize youth participation, I want to have on the perspective of a strategic value reorientation. A lot of things are wrong with this, our generation of youth, given the fact that there is no serious, deliberate value reorientation beyond the slogans. People have been able to observe the political space and the manipulations of the existing elders of all our institutions. I think there is a need for the nation to go back to serious value drafts if we really want to hand over Nigeria to a generation of youths that are development driven and service oriented. The idea of many youths today see politics as a platform to make quick wealth or legitimize ill-gotten wealth without adequate attention to the service aspects of it. And as long as that perspective persists, we will continue to recycle badly nurtured or badly oriented youths into leadership. And this gives room for my slogan that it is bad citizenship that eventually results into bad leadership. If the citizenship orientation is wobbled and wealth focused rather than value addition, we will continue to have a situation where people exploit the system's inadequacies. So I want to reiterate the position of the presenter that institutions must work and government must be deliberate in reorienting the youth. One, we will be able to break our tie to the apron string of the West and position ourselves as a capable continent that can generate development initiatives that can have sincere leadership. It does not have to go, we don't have to wait until there are coups, there are disruptions in the democratic system. The democracy that we run should be integrated in such a way that everybody believes in it. And that can only come when the institutions of government are responsible to the people. You put somebody in the police service today, he sees it as an opportunity to extort money on the street, run after people that are criminals, collaborate with thieves, give government procured arms and ammunition to criminal elements for if they are not even using it by themselves for gratification. You will see a situation where the police, even the EFCC people, run after people that are doing internet fraud for the purpose of taking a cut of their wealth. The situation where you give a Nigerian youth or anybody in Nigeria a performance platform and they convert it to personal opportunity to milk fellow citizens and milk the system should be grossly disencouraged. And I think that again, beyond all of us having determination, if the system is locked against certain inadequacies, the people themselves will behave. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tunde, for that wonderful insight. God bless you once again. Do we have anyone here asking any other question? We are really far behind our schedule, far ahead. Please, if there's no other person asking a question, let me round up by asking our guest speaker this last question, which is very important. Very important. Sir, during election cycles, many voters still accept inducements or votes along ethnic and party lines rather than competence. The question is, to what extent should citizens be held accountable for the quality of leadership they experience? To what extent should citizens be held accountable for the quality of leadership they experience? Thank you, sir.
I believe it's 100%. I believe if you look at your question, that to what extent should citizens be held accountable for the quality of the leadership they experience? And you see what Mr. Dairo said, Mr. Tunde, that bad citizenship leads to bad leadership. We are still going about in a circle in Nigeria, and the question is, who will bail the cat? That's the question we have been asking. We are talking about governance. If you talk about private investors, they will tell you, in Afara Hub, we encourage entrepreneurship and we support young businesses. And we ask for what is their biggest concern. It is about pilferages. It's about people they employ to work and pay, stealing their products. So this is a Nigerian thing. Let me just quickly say that the not too young to run, the question you asked, that you mentioned ethnicity and party support to induce and to vote.
Yes, sir.
When not too young to run was going to be enacted as a law, youths in Nigeria came out together. Even when there was end to bad governance crisis in protests in Nigeria, in northern Nigeria they were doing something else, you know. So it is only not too young to run that has been able to bring the youth blocks together. There was no issue of religion, there was no issue of ethnicity, there was no issue of party or ideological differences. So we should try as much as possible to look at what are those common grants that youths need to have that can help them to move forward as a block. That is different from the issue of value reorientation. But I think the value reorientation thing is about you and I, is about what values are we inculcating within our family, within our household. Will your children come home with stolen biros and erasers and you leave them to put it in their bag, or will you ask them to take it back to school the next day after chastising the young one? So it is that values must start from you, then go into your family, go into your community. That is when we can have a better Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now we are going to close this session today, but before that, let's give Mr. Babatunde Karawi, an associate member of the Institute, just 1 minute to make his point or ask his question. Please, Mr. Babatunde, unmute and ask your question or make your contribution. Please, just 1 minute, 60 seconds.
Thank you so much, Mr. Innocent. And I want to also appreciate our speaker, person of Mr. Omoworare. Thank you so much for that insight. Now, I had let me call it a bad experience in the last general election because I belong to a civil society organization, and I was an accredited and registered observer, and I had a lot of people, that under my team. Now, in the last election, I observed that there are some kind group of folks that come to polling units, vote whenever they see that this one looks like this one will not vote for us, they will beat them, make sure that they drag them out of the polling unit. And from my team members too, I got that report. Even as I got a point, even my wife's phone was snatched. So my question now is this: how are we going to guide against that as electorate, as citizens, so that whenever we want to vote, or we will not see a group of folks?
Thank you, Mr. Babatunde. And I want to say that experience that you have recounted is a developing phenomenon that a lot of observers have been talking about. I read the observers' report for the last election, and it is definitely there. And I want to say that, let me just say this. In Nigeria, we don't think too greatly of INEC. But outside Nigeria, a lot of people know the transformation that INEC has gone through. I can say that out of virtually all the agencies in Nigeria, INEC is the most revolutionary. INEC has been able to move every step, and they improve election after election. But I'm saying that as citizens of Nigeria, that we try as much as possible to take advantage of the system and look at loopholes. Since they know that votes will now count, what you have said is that they are trying to debar people from casting their votes. That is violence, that is electoral violence, and I think the security apparatus should be able to do something about that, because it is not something about a political party or about a particular region of the country. It has to do generally about politicians inducing talks to ensure that people that can vote against them will not vote against them. It's a security issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session. You have really done justice to the topic of the day. We appreciate you as an institute. We say thank you very much for your time. God bless you, sir. I would like you, sir, to drop your social media handle. You could put it on your slide and share, or you can even drop it on the chat box so everyone can connect with you via your social media handle and ask you further questions. And also, We have dropped the link to our social media, the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel. We have dropped the link on the chat box. Please, I will encourage everyone to click, subscribe, follow us, and when you see the video of this program, please comment, share your insights, talk about it, ask your question. The leaders and even the guest speaker will also be available to comment and talk to you further on the topic. So we are going to close the session for today. Once again, I want to appreciate everyone, starting with our guest speaker, Mr. Oluwasegun, our country director, Dr. Segun Ojarotade, currently in the United Kingdom. Speaking with us from the United Kingdom, we appreciate you. We appreciate our members, our staff, all the members of the Institute, all the staff of the Institute. We appreciate you. We appreciate the fellow members in the house today. We appreciate the full members. We appreciate the associate members. We also appreciate the prospective members, those who want to join the Institute. You had the announcement session by Mrs. Ronke. She talked a lot about how to join the Institute. How do you join the Institute? It's very simple. Membership is via direct membership. No examination for now. All we do is check your profile, check your education level, check your experience, check everything about you. And there are three major categories: the fellow membership, the full membership, and the associate membership. Now, based on your background, your professional background, your educational background, your experience, you can qualify for either of the two. And this gives you access to use our post-nominals like FCILG for fellow, MCILG for full membership, and of course, we have the associate membership, which is ACILG. So we appreciate everyone. If you want to join the Institute, just send your CV, send your updated CV or profile to us via the email that was posted on the page, which is also on the chat box. There is also a form there. You can click on that link and submit your application, and a membership invitation letter will be sent to you. Now, before we close the meeting, I would like to welcome our country director, Dr. Segun Ojarotade, to close the meeting. Dr. Segun Ojarotade, the floor is open for you, sir. Thank you,
All
sir.
right. Let me sincerely thank our guest speaker. Out of his busy schedule, he has created time to share with us from his wealth of experience. And let me reiterate, this is a free program. He's a leader. I know what it costs to spare his 1 hour out of his schedules all over the world to share with us. We want to really appreciate you. We want to thank all members who have participated in this program. Something resonates with me in your presentation by Kofi Annan. He said, no one is born a good citizen. No nation is born a democracy. Rather, both are processes that continue to evolve over a long time. This statement is a fundamental truth about leadership, about citizenship, even about governance. No one is naturally responsible, law-abiding or politically aware by birth. We develop as a good citizenship through education, value, experience, by respecting the law, voting responsible, becoming accountable leader, and we produce a better nation. Many countries, including Nigeria, are still developing their democracy system. Citizens must keep improving their awareness and responsibility. Leaders must keep strengthening governance system. Institutions must grow stronger through reform and accountability. And I must say this, you and I cannot expect good leadership without responsible citizenship. You and I cannot expect instant democratic success without long-term institutional development. Both citizens and leaders must consistently improve their role. On this note, I want to say thank you, Dr. Oluwasegun Omoworare, for your time and for giving us this slot to share with us. Thank to all participants, both the ones who have raised questions, concerns,
and even the ones who they did not ask questions. We hope to see you in our next program. To people joining us for the first time, we'd like to identify with you and would like you to identify with us. Take advantage of our various contacts on the platform, reach out to us, and we take it over from there. I want to say thank you to everyone, to Faith, to Ronke, to Innocent, to all our fellow members, and even our guests who have attended. Thank you, and bye from here. Please, we'd like to unmute so that we can appreciate our guests, everyone. Kindly unmute your, share your video so that you can we can see your face and just appreciate our guests from wherever you are joining from. Just mention your name, where you are joining, and mention the name of our guest and appreciate him in your own way. You can speak any language. English is not compulsory. The man understands every language you speak. Just appreciate him in your language. Yeah, I can see Mr. Sadiq Afina. We are so happy to see you joining us. I can see you want to appreciate our guest first.
Thank you so much. I want to really appreciate our guests for that wonderful and impactful presentation. May Almighty God continue to strengthen you and
Amen.
be your might. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can see our mommy boss today. Kanuba wanted to appreciate our guests.
I said thank you so very much. It was a well-loaded presentation. I agree. In fact, my notebook was so filled up. I was writing and writing and writing. Thank you so very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, Mr. Presenter. Like I put in my comment on the chat, that this actually passes for a whole day workshop. And I'm a first timer, and I really enjoyed this session. Thank you so much. Victor Omoworare is my name.
Thank you.
My name is Dairo Latunde. I want to appreciate the presenter for this insight. And I also want to proceed that beyond sharing this content on social media and making it available to the public, I think the institutions should develop it into a full-time, full paper presentation for journals and for other reputable international intellectual content compiling agencies to spark debate and to also add to intellectual discourse on finding
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Hello, sir. Our paper presenter, Dr. Oluwasegun. In fact, you have not just informed, you have taught us the basis of what it takes to talk of politics beyond slogans. It has to be a deliberate thing and calculative action on the part of whoever wants to get into it. And the advice or recommendation to include and allow for participation of the youth in decision making is very well calculated, and it has been transmitted, I think, in the best of ways. Because if you say somebody is the leader of tomorrow and that person does not know where we are coming from and does not even have any value to kind of, resonate to or look at or look up to, then the person will not be able to function in whatever role he gets to do. But you have presented it in a way that it has to be deliberate, and not just being deliberate, they have to be inbuilt into it. Thank you very much. And just as the last speaker, I think, has said, this should go beyond measures just for consumption of members of this gathering. You should be out there to educate our politicians. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for the additional insights, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, presenter. Thank you, Dr. Shegun Jarotade. Thank you, the members. We really appreciate you, and we really enjoy the presentation. See you. Thank you, sir.
All right. It is 1 o'clock, which is just few minutes beyond the agreed time. We want to thank you for your participation. We like to have the social media name of our guest speaker so that we can connect with you on your social platform. Please feel free to share with us or just announce it to us so that members can connect and follow you for more in future. Please do that shortly, Dr. Oluwasegun Omoworare. Your social media handles. Yeah, you can unmute, sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. It's easier that people get across to me by my email.
That's fine. Please, you can.
Yeah, so I've posted my email and my organizations and I personally, we are on some social media handles. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and it is Oluwasegun Omoworare. I'm on LinkedIn too, as Segun Omoworare. So we can link up together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have it in the chat box. Please, you can pick it up, members, and connect with Mr. Oluwasegun Omoworare. If you want to reach him on email, it's oluwasegunomoworare@gmail.com. Yes, that is very easy for all of us to reach out to him. Thank you very much for your time, sir. And thank to all participants. We promise to see again. Bye for now.